introduce you to Juliette Stapleton, who has just written a new book on marketing and human design. And I love this. I love this for a few reasons. As you know, I'm a human design expert and I'm all about helping you to align with your prosperity. But Juliette is special for many reasons. Number one, human design to me has been a tool to help me align you to specifically what's correct for you. But often we can get caught in the minutiae, in the detail. And with Juliette, what she does is she was a marketer first. So Juliette was finding her own difficulties with the marketing and then saw human design and realized, oh my goodness, this can really help me, not just help me, but help my clients break through her marketing visibility online. And she now calls herself the visibility queen. Is that correct, Juliette?
I don't call myself the queen of visibility. I was called the queen of visibility. And then I just said, why not? I am so visible. It's actually really funny how you mentioned this, because this happened before I discovered human design. And it was when I'm a projector. I'm a splenic projector, 1-3 profile. And I was living my life like a generator, if not a manifesting generator in my business, because I was very consistent. Every day I posted something. I was, super visible. That's something that I'm always, this is one of my gifts, I would say, is to see how you can present yourself online as an entity that is not you in your everyday life, but that's you as your vision, what you're here on a mission to be. And I've been like this from the very start. Back in 2000, I taught myself how to build websites and create different profiles on. We didn't have the social media how we know it today, but we still had forums and we still had platforms. And I was in a band and I was a singer, and I needed to, tell the world that we are here, and not just people who are in a geographical location, but more people out there. And that's how it all started. So over time, I was always very visible with whatever I was doing, even if it wasn't a business. I was doing dressmaking, and I had a dressmaking blog with a big following and with tutorials and with the whole shebang. So really, truly, I am all about visibility. And I naturally am about consistency, although what human design gave me is the real window into how to create consistency that feels aligned and that doesn't bring you to burnout, because we can be very busy on that hamster wheel, running around trying to be visible, posting, say, on social media for the sake of posting, and it doesn't bring any results. And that can be very discouraging. But social media, online world can bring huge results. And when I started slowing down, and I was very scared, but I was laughing to myself and saying, I'm so laid back, I'm almost horizontal. I feel like I am not working, and I am being visible still, but only creating when I was energetically aligned with creating. I started being very smart about repurposing what I've created when I was in that zone. And you know what? My whole business has changed. And human design was a calling from probably the start. I was in the closet for such a long time because I didn't want to, come out and people think, she's a woo-woo person. I'm so logical. I'm so practical. So this book really it's kind of like my baby, where I take that woo-woo stuff, I omit everything that is too out there for some people, right? We know we're spiritual people. We know how we can be judged. And I'm putting a lot of practical application that makes sense. That's very logical, and that can give you a compass, because it's not a rule book. Human design is not a rule book. Everybody is so unique. You cannot give some sort of like generic rules. But then when you know how, like when you know your type and you know how your aura is created and how your aura is interacting with other people, other auras, it gives you a clue on how you can, in the easiest, in a way, you can relax into your own design. And that's what I love about experimenting with human design in your business, because you can relax into your business and the results start showing themselves, but you're not desperate. You're not repelling your audience and your people with just being desperately looking for sales and feeling needy and being needy, right? You can do it in a way, you can speak in a way that is very aligned with who you are. For example, I mentioned I'm a 1-3 human design profile. projector. And again, it's kind of putting me in the box. And of course, I'm much more than that. But what that gives me is karmically, I'm a very introspective person. So I speak a lot about myself. Like I've said so many I's in this interview, and we're only on for a couple of minutes, right?
Exactly,
But this is
exactly.
my brand voice, right? So
Yeah,
and this is why one threes always make good authority figures and thought leaders. And I'm
yeah.
saying that without any kind of hint of even like, am I bragging? It is what it is, right? Because through processing everything and investigating what is solid, what is reliable, what is trustworthy, and what is a smokescreen. And we live in the world that's full of, with the marketing, traditional marketing, every industry is full of smokescreen, and people are loud people, so very loud world. So how do you find what's the real deal? And that's where 1-3s come in, and they say, here's the real deal, right? I've tried it
Exactly.
all. I'm an expert of what doesn't work, but that's why I'm an expert on what can be trusted. Where can you go? That's what I tried to do in this book. I didn't want to just repeat what other people are saying and teaching about human design, especially that human design has never been created for business. Let's just be very clear. And right now it's becoming popular because, it's being popularized by even the Washington Post this year, who said enneagrams are out and human design is in. By the way, I was the first contributor to
Yeah,
talk about marketing and human design a year before that in Entrepreneur. So we're
yeah.
being pioneers here, right? Not Washington Post. But still, and because of that, there's going to be so many more people talking about human design, when things become popular. But when things become popular, they also become diluted, and they also become full of nonsense as well, because there's also always a way to make money on everything. And I wanted to give something that I see as a marketer of over 2 decades, of someone who is really familiar on how to build your presence that is attractive online, but also how to do it in the most aligned way with your brand voice, with your design. So
That's brilliant.
that was
Exactly. Because there's two things I'm picking out of that. One, human design as the profiling tool, which to me is ideal because a lot of the profiling tools are actually mind driven,
yes,
which can be, whereas human design is based on your energy signature, basically, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, as a 5-1 projector, I know what invisible is all about, right? And working with you has given me huge insight in how to become visible as a 5-1 projector. But the fun thing is, Juliette, that I love about, you mentioned your profile as 1-3, and it's, the ability to, I know that you try everything out before you bring it to people. I know that you only bring to us what works, right? So that's why I work with you. And that's why I love this book as well, because it really is a practical application of information that's unique to us, that's as individuals, how we become magnetic, how we shine. And here's the difference between conventional marketing methods, which I've done plenty study in, and it has been, well, just think about something you love. And it pulls us into the general, seeing what other people are talking about, rather than talking from our own heart, rather than talking from ourselves. So, I read this book. I haven't read it all, but just looking at it, there's super tips and insights into how to become more magnetic naturally in your marketing. And I love it even more because I'm designed to teach people how to work their strategy and authority so that they can remain prosperous. So being prosperous and sharing your message in a way that's natural, in a way that feels so comfortable that it's like having a cup of coffee.
that's
And
right.
with your audience, it just brings it into a realm of doable, doable. Losing that fear of being unheard, because you're not worried about being you're not worried about being heard because you're being heard because you're naturally magnetic. Does
But
that
that's
make?
so true. And there's another thing, no matter what your human design is, and even if you're here, like we're both projectors, our existential question here is, what is the other? We don't know who we are. We don't ever know who we are, but a lot of projectors is there, trying to figure themselves out. Who am I, and they're not focusing on what's the real thing. But what I'm trying to say here as well is I am a 1-3. I know that. And I mentioned that 1-3 is a very introspective profile that goes through within. But my message here for everyone, because this is what I see, is that when you focus on within, where is your strength? What are you here to give? If you're 5-1, and 5 is so good at practical solutions, and, you're going to become prosperous, and you're going to lose the fear of visibility just because you stop caring about what they think about what you're about to say. I know there was a lot of abouts in this statement, but when you focus within, I call it selfish marketing. Annita, I mentioned that selfish marketing, I say on our calls a lot. Selfish marketing is when you stop caring what they need to hear. The traditional marketing says like, fill in 55 pages of your ideal client avatar. Well, raise your hand if it's super confusing for you and stops you from promoting your business because you say, oh, I don't know who I'm talking to. Oh my God, I have to figure out my messaging. No, you don't need to figure out your messaging. You need to start speaking from a place that will naturally feel more easy. You will have to get over, like for me, I had to get over the self-shame to speak about myself all the time. But my human profile says you need to speak about yourself. It's all about your unique insights and perspectives here. And so you get over the conditioning. You get over, you shift your mindset to understanding that when you're focused within on your light shines so brightly, you attract the right, correct people, not just some people, correct people. Correct people will always tune in. They will always read your very long posts if you write very long like me. They will always find you, but you have to focus on, and you have to show up with this light. If you're not seen, how can they find you? So there's just two principles, and I'm trying to encourage. I want, after you read this book, and by the way, can we just say the most important thing, that the book is free right now on Kindle for the next 5 days. So whenever you're watching this, we're recording on Friday the 14th, and for 5 days up until Tuesday 18th, I think it's midnight PST on Tuesday, you can grab the Kindle for subliminal. I couldn't talk because I thought, oh my God, what if you're watching it after? So you can grab it for free. But if you missed it, if you're watching a replay and you missed it, right, it's going to be so super affordable. Because I didn't write this book for profits. Who can make profits on like pennies that Amazon pays you? But there is very, very important message. And now, right now, when I'm holding this book, I feel like this is not me who wrote it. This is not me on the cover. This is something bigger. This is something that's going to give a lot of people a sense of relief, sense of hope, the sense of there is nothing wrong with me. And even saying like, show fingers to the world and say, leave me alone. I actually know there's nothing wrong with me. I can show up as who I am, very unique, very different. Yes, I'm not going to do things the way I should be doing things. I'm going to do them because it lights me up, because I feel I have available energy for this, because I'm getting in the zone when I'm talking about this. And that's what making us magnetic. That's how we embody our design in our marketing and attract perfect clients. So
Exactly. I love that. And there comes a time when my biggest issues with marketing were, oh my God, who am I going to talk to? What am I going to say? Well, how will it come across? I wonder what they'll be thinking, because most marketers will say, it is about the other, and it is about the other. But when you know your design, when you read Juliette's book, when you you could take 3 tips out of that book and enhance your marketing massively. It's the ability to know who you are.
Exactly.
And to do it your way without apology, right? Which is contradictory to standard practice. Do it this way. I made $50 million doing it this way. And you're kind of there totally overwhelmed, totally intimidated and wondering, oh my God. And that's what I love about your work, and how you integrate the design or natural design with marketing strategies, and in a very practical way as well, Juliette. I love that. I'm only into practical application, as you know. But there's one thing I would love to ask you, because to everybody that's listening, you're definitely going to immediately improve your marketing style by doing this, right? Or by reading this book. But the second thing is, what prompted you to get to find human design in the first place? How did you?
Oh, nothing. I don't. Oh, here's a great confession. I have no idea how I found human design. It found me. It
Okay.
somehow found me. I have no idea. I right now have no recollection. All I remember, my first memory of human design, is that I'm listening to little. I went to mybodygraph.com to do my first chart, and I purchased the sort of like it's an advance, it's $30 or something, add-on that you get audios from Ra to listen. I didn't know who Ra was. I didn't know anything, but all I remember is sitting there listening to Ra, not understanding much what he's saying, because he was a 5-1 and he wasn't very clear about how he was expressing himself. When you come to human design, the funny thing is that actually this is really important to say. A lot of people think, oh my God, it's another thing I need to learn. No, you don't. No, you don't. The only people who should study human design and study it very deep is people who really want to work with it, either becoming analysts or use them in, like us, use them in our businesses, or if you're super duper curious. But you have to always ask yourself, how much do I need to know this stuff in order for my business to improve? This is what this book is about. The book gives you everything you need to know. So your strategy and authority is paramount. And that's why it's an experiment. You learn to understand your body. You learn to understand how people perceive you and how you perceive, how you interact with people. And that is enough, because that will help you make aligned decisions. And everything in life depends on how you're making your decisions. How confident are your yeses and nos? How you can check in with yourself and not with your excited or scared mind, and go for something that may be going to feel scary, because the mind always going to sabotage you or interfere, but you made the right decision because you followed your authority, your inner guidance, or it could be an outer guidance depending on your design, but still it's something that's very, very reliable for you. And that's how you get more trust, because you know that it's going to work. Even for some, like for reflectors, it might take a whole month or more. You have to go through a lunar cycle or maybe more to really know if this decision feels good. So great. Give yourself permission not to be spontaneous, not to ever be pressurized into a decision. I find that there's so much empowerment in my personal life, in my life. I'm a different person now because I'm so strong in what I want or do not want to do. And I say no so confidently. I know it doesn't matter that my mind says, oh, you have so many opportunities. You need to show up at this event because there's going to be an important person that, all this like chatter. And my body says, no, this is so incorrect for you, Juliette, don't go. And I don't go. And then I feel like, okay, that was the right decision. Because if I did go, I could have felt, invisible, maybe unseen.
Yeah.
Then
And exactly. And that's something about human design, that it does give you it gives us the blueprint to show, well, what is my success mindset? Because we all have a different type of thinking process.
Yes.
What is my emotional intelligence? How do I make those decisions? It gives you your reliable way of doing that. And the decision, I call it the money mover in your business.
Yeah.
When you can make the decision, when you understand how you filter through ideas to pick the one that's going to be a lucrative business idea for you, it's a game changer, right? So with the marketing, and this is what I love about the book, it really helps you kind of focus in to your natural way of doing things. And I'm saying this over and over again, I know, but most of us, one of my other biggest bugaboos with marketing was people would say, do it now. Now, this is a strategy and a process that you can use. It's fantastic. Now, just adapt it to your way. And I was there thinking, oh my God,
How?
if I knew my own way, I would be doing it in a second. But I'd sit there going, what's my way? What's my way? And so
Well,
like
your way does take time to, so everybody wants, we as adults, we forget how long it took us to learn to walk, to learn to talk, right? We don't have the conscious memory of how much effort, how many times we fell and bumped our heads on the floor, all these things. So we just want everything like this. When somebody says you need to figure out your way, I say that a lot. We think that it's just something like an aha moment and everything, you're there, but you're not. You're never there. In fact, you're always figuring out. Even successful people are always still figuring out, because there's always something else, like a helix, right? And it's okay to be okay with allowing yourself to figure things out. However, with human design, it just gives you like it literally gives you the compass on this journey of figuring out, because you can then say, this is mine, this is not mine, this is for me, this is not for me, and you have this real red flags when you know it's not yours, like resistance for generators, when they are where there's frustration, where they're blocked, when they can't even start. What a great sign to see that you're actually pushing in a wrong direction. You're not approaching this the right way. You're trying to do something, maybe things should be this way, and so you're just really trying, but your body seizes up, you can't even start. It's not
That's
the
a
way to do it. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's
that's
that's a
a
great way.
fantastic point, because I would say the same. Knowing where you can be blocked is just as important as knowing where when you're ready to go. And when you are blocked like that, what can be funny about it is knowing that there's nothing wrong. It's just a matter of resetting back into your alignment, you
I
know?
have a very good analogy. I don't know anyone
Okay.
who played video games. I know maybe we're a bit I don't know. I played video games when I was 18. I'm 46, right? But anyway,
Yeah.
video games. So imagine a game where you have to do like a racing track. It's not about knowing where to turn. Our brain actually remembers where there is obstacles. After a couple of times we go and we bump into those obstacles, we know now that there's going to be an obstacle around the corner, right? And that's how we then can finish the track sometime, someday, without bumping into anything. The brain always focuses on negative. The more you're aware about the red flags in your life, in your business, in anything, the better is your path to the right, to what is going to be correct for you. And that's why I always say, negative is good. Of course, it's very difficult and very unclear to focus on the right thing, but you can figure out what is the right thing for you by eliminating the wrong things. And I just love red flags. I love red flags. And so this is, I'm so glad that we mentioned this.
Yeah, yeah, it is really important, because you stop saying, oh, there's something wrong with me, I must be doing it wrong. And you start going, no, actually, this is what I do when I'm triggered, doing something new, or triggered when I'm just about to have this brilliant, I have this brilliant idea and I'm about to take action on it. We're all going to feel fear because we're pushing into a new comfort zone. And a new comfort zone is uncomfortable until it becomes, but
And
the
I think
biggest,
fear is a natural thing to feel. This
yeah.
is something that we always want to get rid of fear. But the fear is a natural thing to feel, but we can choose to either be paralyzed with it and allow it to control us, or we can channel it as the adrenaline, which feels exactly the same as fear, right? Channel it into taking aligned steps, taking some sort of action, even if they're minuscule steps. They actually sometimes are all you need to get over that fear. So this is something that also to keep in mind. And human design is perfect for this because it gives you the
Yeah,
red flags. It
yeah.
gives you suggestions for the right way. Then you have to get your head around this right way. So for example, when you talk to a generator and you say you need to relax into the flow of life, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm a go-getter. I have all this life force in me. But it's not about for you to go and initiate and start things. It's actually not. You're going to be so much better off if you're just like relax and see what universe delivers to you. How much more easy and enjoyable this is. But we're conditioned to be, the go-getters,
Yeah,
right?
busy. And that's a really good point, because that is what following your strategy and authority is. The daily practice that allows you to be open to the opportunities, to recognize them when they show up, and to be able to take the actions on them then. And it's a moment by moment thing. It is trial and error. We're the
Yes,
scientists of our own life, the more you try it, especially if it's something new, the more you build a body of evidence. Oh yeah, that worked for me.
that's
Okay, I'll
true.
try it again. Oh yeah, that worked for me, especially if you're following your yes,
And it's okay if it doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
correct things for us are meant to fail, so we learn what's incorrect, or so we learn that this is not the way. We have to have lessons. Life doesn't exist in black and white. Life exists in a series of lessons, series of challenges where you're growing through them. And there is an expression, growing pains. This is also natural, but we want to rid of all that. We want to be just free and aligned all the time. That's never going to happen. And I think that the sooner we get this healthy attitude. It's like, okay, what's correct for me? I'm going to jump into this hole and
Yeah.
see. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, that's not the end of the world. This is only my experience. Now I know this doesn't work for me. I can very confidently say no the next time. And I
Yeah.
know it's a very third line attitude. And this
It
is the
is.
third
It's
lines
so,
are the material plane lines. They're the movers and the shakers. And they're the ones
yeah.
who try always, a million times before they hit the gold mine. But you know what? We can take that leaf out of the book and apply
Yes.
this,
That's
because it's
so
true.
true.
There is
Yeah.
no right way. I want,
Yeah.
if there was an alternative name for this book that I just wrote, I would, and I came up after I've already,
Yeah.
wrote it, it would be, there is no the right way,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can get where you want to get in millions and billions, 7 billion people, 7 billion ways, right? To get where you want
Exactly.
to be. That's a
And
really good
even,
attitude.
sorry, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And that's the thing, we are growing and changing all the time. So what worked for us yesterday might not work for us tomorrow. And the thing is understanding, again, like you said, really important and truly spoken by the 1-3. Truly. The point was that allow the adaptability, allow the growth. Because I would have even at one point said, or people would say, oh, when you do your webinar, set up pre-calls with people afterwards. And I did, right? So I set up 20 free calls in 3 days or something, found I was absolutely exhausted after it and realized, no, I can't do it that way. I will set up calls, but not that way. I'll spread out the time span a bit more. And so the practical application of this is, it's groundbreaking, Juliette. Your book is groundbreaking. So listen, we're kind of running towards the end of our time. What I'd love you to do is let the listeners know where to find this book, how to find it, all that.
Awesome. So I mentioned that right now in the next 5 days, it's going to be
Yeah.
free on Kindle. So if you go to your local Amazon marketplace, wherever it is based on your location, you will see it. You will also see that it kind of offers you to sign up to Kindle Unlimited. Don't do that. You don't need to enroll into that. There's going to be a buy now button, and that's what you get for the Kindle. It's free. Paperback. It's so pretty. It's going to adorn your bookshelf. It's just
Yeah.
so pretty. I can't get over it myself. I can't believe I designed the cover myself. I
Yeah.
love it, right? There's paperback that's really beautiful. There's hardcover as well. They're also very, very affordable. I think the hardcover is something like $19 and this one is $11. So whatever it is in your currency. So it's absolutely worth it, just to get it and have it and come back to it. And it's not something that you just read once, right?
Yeah.
This is something that you can revisit, because it's going to encourage you to give yourself a lot of permissions. And that is very empowering. That is very empowering. I have not felt, if I saw myself today, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe even when I turned 40, I remember I felt like it was like, oh my God, something is happening in this era on my 40th birthday. But if I saw myself today, I would not believe this is me, because I have changed so much in terms of my empowerment, in terms of how I know what I want. And I know who I am, even though I'm a projector, but relatively, I know exactly what makes me happy. And I love this woman here. I love myself. How amazing is that? That is the core of everything you do. When you do everything, when you actually self-recognize yourself first, and you understand what you're about, you understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you in the basic even terms, then it's so much easier to show up in that kind of way. And it's a very powerful, confident way to show up. And that's what I want for you. And that's why I'm giving away this book for free now, right? Very affordable if you want it in paper, and it's beautiful. I can't get over how beautiful it is. Anyway, and then so you can go to Amazon. You can also make it much easier. You can there's a link here on the bottom, JulietteStapleton.com/book. And I already have buttons to all Amazon marketplaces with a little graphic to remind you not to enroll into Kindle Unlimited, because you don't need it to get that book for free. So yeah, go ahead and do it now. And if you do it, read over it. And if you can, leave me a 5-star rating. It would be absolutely fantastic. I'm sure you're going to love it. I'm just sure. I'm reading this book as if I didn't write it, and I am loving it because
Yeah,
it just gives
yeah.
so much goodness, so much good stuff.
Absolutely. I agree. And I would say the same. This is something it's a reference book. And if you're feeling stuck in your marketing, it's a great place to go to really say, hang on a second, let me just look at the way my natural way of doing it instead. And, try something different. Maybe I missed a nuance here because it's so clear. This is what I love about you, Juliette. You have a clarity around this, and the clarity through trying out, through experiencing, through practicing it, and that's what makes this so magnetic. I bet you anybody who's watching will feel the energy of this, right? So listen, Juliette, thank you so much for coming on line today. It has been a joy to talk to you. I highly recommend, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's out there, look this up, buy this book. It is so, and I don't recommend things easily, by the way, just so you know. I'm a 5-1. If it doesn't have a practical application, it gets the trash for me. This one is golden. Go for it. You will thank us in time to come as you gently, through trial and error, through trial of your own way of doing things, develop your own process for marketing, for sharing your gift. Because there's so many of us that are entrepreneurs that our skill set is really healing or helping or supporting others. So actually getting ourselves out there in a way that's natural for us to be rewarded financially and be able to support ourselves in it. I mean, how good is that? All right, so listen, thank you very much, everybody. We'll love you and leave you. And Juliette, best of luck with your book. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you grab a book today. See you later.
Bye.